My name is Marco Tabo, and you are watching The Big Issue. Your ex is your ex for a reason, but he or she was also an important part of your life for a significant amount of time. And it's understandable to want to hold on to that relationship in some capacity. Now, many former couples, whether dating partners or spouses, try to remain friends after a breakup, and some are able to manage this transition successfully. Now, the argument against spouses seeking financial help from an ex while actively in marriage has been a perennial grouse, especially in Africa. While some will wave off the argument as stemming from the ego of an African man, others will agree that there are always a red flag attached to exes that can rock the foundation of any home. Is it right for a wife to seek financial help from her ex? Innocent Adulugba is a writer, analyst, and social commentator, and he says, yes, your ex is first a human being and therefore can be approached for help if you are in need. Let's welcome him to the podium. Good to have you, Innocent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good day.
All right, on the other hand, Sandra Odufaderin is a relationship expert. She is here to remind you of the Okafor's law, once debe, always debe. That's to say, keep your ex in the past where he or she belongs. Come on, Sandra, let's have you. Welcome to the podium.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, now this is a subject matter that actually stems across board. I know for real you're waiting for the cross of the matter, and we're about to deal with it straight up. Wherever you are right now, sit back and have a good time as I engage my guest on this subject matter. First of all, Innocent, I'll hold you on to it very quickly before I move on to Sandra. How do you begin? You are saying there's nothing wrong in seeking financial help from your ex, especially if the wife decides to go out and seek financial help from an ex. If there is a problem, you said the ex was first a human being before any other thing. I mean, how do you break that down?
Well, before Sandra speaks, I would like to agree with her that it is wrong.
Okay.
I am saying it is right. I want to agree with you that it is wrong. But there is a line we need to draw clearly. What is the boundary for wrong?
Okay.
What is the boundary for right? Now, reaching out for help is because you are in need. Giving help is because you are in a position to. And sometimes you could give help to those who you don't even know. How much more someone you know, possibly have good feelings towards, perhaps in the past. So I think if somebody is in need, sometimes it transcends just the wife. Let's not bash the female gender too much. You are in need, even a male that is out of a relationship before, you find out, you look for those who can be of help. Sometimes you like to lean on friends and curtail the embarrassment of being turned down by a total stranger. And so that person you've shared some intimacy before with, and it's past, so to say, you feel, okay, you may have been of use to that person before. Now I'm down. Can I reach out to this person? That, I disagree with her, it's wrong. That is right. Very right. Now, if beyond giving, I compromise my will to do anything under the carpet, that is where the wrong comes. So let's stop with the giving before adding the permutations that will follow. Giving help to friend and foe is a very good thing to do.
Thank you very much. All right, Sandra, you heard his stand.
Yeah.
He says there's nothing wrong in it, so long as financial help. You're saying, hey, if it's out of place to want to reach out to an ex for financial help, how do you begin?
I always say to people, marriage is not for babies. When you make up your mind you want to get married, you make up your mind and you move on. I don't see any connection between a woman and her ex. For instance, I am a woman. Women are highly emotional than men. I, as a woman, I can be jealous of my ex, who is very wealthy and is not married to another lady. And I'm like, this guy, I should have married him. Now, probably, for instance, your husband is not doing well. I always advise, I remembered when a friend was going to get married, which was the best. She said she and her husband agreed they were going to cut off their old lines and get new ones. Whether you like it or not, if you're still having a connection with your ex, don't forget the good old days. those times you used to have fun, those times you need to go out. Now you're in your husband's house, you need help. I have seen a situation, I'm a relationship expert, where an ex impregnated his ex while she was in her husband's house. Now, the husband did not know. True life story. As a matter of fact, it was the husband that confided in me. He didn't know about it until when they were going to relocate to Canada. And they had to do a test and all that. They find out that he had 2 sons. One of it were not his. And that happened. After a much investigation, there was a time her husband had issues and she sought help from her ex. And that started the affair all over again. And one thing led to another. And the woman got pregnant and kept the baby for 22 years. It was when they were going to relocate to Canada that they found out. I always say to people, X is an X. If I have this shirt and I decide to sell it to you, it's now my ex shirt or my ex gown. It's gone. I will never come back to you, no matter the circumstances, to say, I want it back. So why are you looking for your ex to give you money? If you were getting married to a guy, you knew this guy was not going to take care of you, why are you going back to your ex? Ex is an ex. Don't forget, there's a word that say, there's a law, the Okafor's law. Once they bear,
it's always
they bear. I'll explain that more.
All right, later
as we go further.
Thank you very much. All right, you can see the angle she came from now. Now, you saying, let's stop at giving. But she coming from an emotional angle of a female saying, there is no way we cannot want to seek financial help without other permutations coming into play. And that's what she's saying. Look, that's why it is totally unacceptable to even reach out for an ex in the first place, because there is no how. If the connection, as you explained initially, was quite grand, there is no how that connection will not come back to play. It will not stop at just financial help. Something else will come into play. So how do you tackle this stance he has come up with now?
Yeah, thank you. Sandra is a female. You expect females to speak from their emotional, and you see, women see and perceive what men take as ordinary. First of all, she mentioned infidelity common with exes. Infidelity is a societal vice. It's not confined among exes alone. A man who is an unfaithful husband, not all his, what would I call them, mistresses were his exes. A woman who is also lascivious around, not all her, or not, the person may not just be an ex. So let's not blacklist the ex, is my gospel.
Okay.
Let's not blacklist the ex. Marriage is a societal emblem. It is not confined in a box. We are in an open system. Marriage is not in a closed system like my wristwatch or inside the fluorescent. So there will be interactions. You will reach out to people. I am standing on giving. You know, giving is an act of kindness. The question, unless we take this topic from where we are a step further and ask, what is the motive of giving? But in giving help to an ex, I insist, is not wrong. Now, if an ex gives me help, an ex has her will, I have my will. If I compromise my will has led me to the wrong place, not the giving.
Now, aside from compromising a will, you also remember that there are certain cases when you want to reach out for help with this ex, and you know that on the grounds on which both of you separated was very bitter.
Yes.
Now, how do you think your ex would even respond to your cry for help at that time, knowing fully well that you guys did not even part ways on a very clean slate?
That kind of ex is a no-go area for help. That is what makes giving help to exes pleasant.
But you just said now that giving is a kind gesture. Should your past or your bitterness with your ex come into play when you want to give?
When you are looking for help, that's my intro comment. There are those you like to go to and you are sure they won't turn you down. If you recall that you had a bitter exchange and departure with someone before, that wouldn't be among your top choices. You reach out to exes sometimes, and I'll give you a story. There were people who dated from like secondary school across to NYSC. By the time they were going to get married, they decided to do their genotype. Both families sanctioned the relationship. You know, this mother will say, my daughter is at the husband's. This woman, my son is at our in-laws' place. But by the time they had their genotype, they found out they were not genetically compatible. They went to school, went to universities together, they remained friends. They got married separately. These exes can't go conjugal again with this medical evidence on ground. But they remained helpful to each other.
Okay.
You know, you go for help, admittedly, where you will be received. If I've had a bitter ex, especially an unforgiving situation, I may even be to blame. Whatever excuse I claim, but I'm to blame. I wouldn't be going to that person to say, I'm down here, can you help? I haven't mended fences.
Okay.
The person has not found it in her heart to forgive. But there are exes you can. Sometimes one of those who may have been your ex could be in your juvenile years where you didn't know the value of certain relationship. I mean, yeah, so the breakup was circumstantial, was at the age level, was what your psychology could carry at that time. But that person is on record to be your ex.
All right, I
can give you help.
Let me hold your thought on that. He mentioned something, and he said, what if on grounds on genetical, situation, that was on that ground you both parted, and there was never a bitter exchange? I mean, wouldn't you want to still reach out to such an ex for help when you really need one? One
of the worst things that can ever happen to any man is to know that my family are in need and I can't provide for that family. And now to even take it worse, further, the woman now goes out to look for and help from a rival. Whether you like it or not, that man was a rival. Now the circumstances he mentioned that, for instance, they are both AS, AX, that kind of a breakup is always very painful. Let me tell you. It's even easy when you break up on a ground that, okay, we are having beef for each other, we're fighting or something. But on a breakup where, because I am AS and you are AA or whatever, we can't get married. It's usually emotional. As a matter of fact,
attachment is really strong.
Such couples do have intimacy before the breakup. Like, okay, the eve to the breakup, we are not seeing it again. Let's just do something and end it. Now, in that position, you're still having the guy's number. You now have a problem. You have given birth. You have children already. We are not talking about genotype anymore. And now you now need his help. What are we talking about? Don't forget the emotion, the love, the affection, the time. Now he's not having you on a platter of gold, like, oh, this girl is coming back to me, and you're still hot. Don't forget, we married women these days, we don't usually look it. After 3, we're still looking like single girls. And you're still looking, and for a woman that always go to her ex, she always have something at the back of her mind. I'm a woman. Now, sometimes when they want to meet or they want to hook up, the guy can still have that affection. Probably he's having issues with his marriage.
At that time.
And now there's this, there's some relationship that, I'm sorry to say, there's some relationship that you can never forget in your lifetime, even when you are married as a woman. Now you're not coming back, and then he's still looking at you like, this baby is still hot, and everything is, he will give you that. He will give you, okay, I want to help you. And then he will not start asking you, how is the marriage? Is your husband treating you well? Probably the woman is not happy in her home as well, and she will not be saying, okay, they are now saying they are friends. One thing leads to another.
One thing leads to another. Once they're there, he's always there. One thing leads to another, right? This debate is getting hotter. Remember, when we return, we are still on the subject matter. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Is it right for a wife to seek financial help from her ex? Innocent Adulugba and Sandra Odufaderin are still here with us on this discussion. Now, Innocent, you heard her. Now, you came from the angle of the genotype or on health grounds. Apparently, you felt that was going to be a yardstick to actually want to go back to still seek that help, since both partners separated on that ground. But she came from another angle to say that is even the most painful ground to separate from. And whether you like it or not, because both partners were separated on that health ground, there is a possibility the attachment is still very, very strong. So there is no way you would go seek for that help without something else coming into play, just the way she explained. And she went further to say, what if at that time the other partner also has issues in his or her marriage at that time and needed some distraction, and that point could have just been the marker? How do you contest that?
Well, I'm a male, I'm married, and I agree with her. I've always agreed with her, but it's a punch-for-punch thing. So there is an extent to which I can agree with her. I agree with her that marriage is sacred. And so all the creed that keeps marriage in its sanctity should be maintained. You know, maintained to the extent of preserving marriage within the African context so that we avoid litanies of divorce. I tell people children are usually the abandoned casualties on the battlefield of divorce. So, but a wife in need of help, take it from me, during this COVID time, lots of beautiful collared, white-collared, whatever collared jobs were lost. And you find women who could see 2 a.m., 4 a.m., go to Oyingbo to buy pumpkin leaf, crayfish, and come and sell. It's not a gender-based thing, but it's more common with women than men. So women psychologically and socially, culturally, and all of that carry their home. So by the time they are pressed in need, they are really, really pressed in need. Notice that with this topic, the women, when it's not habitual for them to go, they were now pressed in need. They needed to reach out for help. So I'm saying we should define terms. What is help? What is help? You see, the topic is it right to seek help? That's my line of dwelling. Is it right to seek help? Now I'm in need. I sit down. I have looked at my family. Think everything is crumbling. Our pillars are breaking down. What do we do before everything collapses on me, my husband, my children? Are there people like that kind of woman may have asked her siblings, some parents, few school friends. It just turns out this ex was one in the pool. You know, and that motive, I'm talking about will. I'm talking about motive. Why is this person seeking help? Now, this person sees that this person may be able to help. Yes, we are not married again. We are not enemies. Can I try to ask him for help? Notice that it's very demeaning, like she said, very embarrassing for a woman in a marital home whose husband is incapacitated to be reaching out. But now, when a man is drowning, anything can give him safety. You know, so you are reaching out for help. I say that is 100% very right. Now, if you abuse the help, if you compromise the help, if you, that is now where wrong begins to go. But the help itself, for me, there's nothing wrong with it. And now I'm going to round up with this. A woman went to look for a job. All the interviews have gone, everything has gone, and then they were at the toilet, the convenience. And she was telling one of the fellow people who came, my place is far, I can't get home today, I just managed to borrow money, I managed to trek here. A man was passing, he couldn't see who was talking, but he recognized the voice. Of course, within the context of our argument, it was his ex. So he listened, she was just talking to that, I don't know you, man, a fellow woman. But I just want to ask, things are bad for me, blah, blah, blah. So this man went to his desk, asked his secretary, there's a woman there, one of the people, call her for me. That, in asked her, they say, I came for interview. Really? He said, yes. What post? He explained. This girl was the brightest in her class, but circumstantially is out of a job. So the man asked her to wait, went to his drawer, took out cash, gave it to her. Now, without nepotism, the lady passed the interview, but the man influenced him. Now he knows somebody he knows was in need. And you see, if you don't, he protected the process. And the woman got it. They had nothing to do with each other. After that, the woman was just thankful. Excuse me.
Are you sure about that?
I'm telling you what transpired. It's a story.
Okay.
He took his call. The woman told her husband. They both called the man and were thankful. So that's where I'm coming. I'm coming from the point that help is not wrong.
Now, you said they called the man and they congratulated him and thanked him. Do you think the wife would have told the husband that that was her ex?
Yes. That's the story I'm giving you.
and you are certain that it will go down well with the husband, knowing that the ex protected the process of her getting that job and they are going to be working in that same organization.
No, it's a HR firm. They outsource jobs.
Okay.
It's not the same place. But I don't know how the ex will feel. I don't know the detail of the sequence of the relationship. But once you are with a spouse who has a past, what's the benefit of digging into that past?
Okay.
You know, it has come, it has gone. Help is always right. There's nothing ever wrong with help, Mark.
Fantastic. Now, he said something. Any man drowning, anything
You can grab.
he grabs
It's a lifeline.
is a lifeline for safety. I mean, that's the grounds on which he is spewing his argument now, saying, look, he doesn't care. This is my ex, and I need help. I'm in need. My house is crumbling, my family is crumbling, and this is one out of the pool. Let me reach out. Now he's saying, look, I'm drowning. Anything could happen to me. If I don't cry out, I will be dead. And you are saying, look, this is your ex. You shouldn't even go there. You should not even dare. I mean, how do you come out of this quagmire?
The Bible says the two shall be naked and they are not ashamed. Now, he was saying something, I'm going to pick it from there. He was saying something that a woman needs help. She has had as sisters, she has had as friend. Will she be woman enough to go and meet her husband? Or will she be very bold enough to go and meet her husband and say, we need 1 million naira and my ex is offering us 1.5 million naira? I can tell you that she will never be bold enough as a woman to go and meet her husband. Now, when you are in a marriage and you are now already doing coded secretive thing outside your home. Now, in the first place, I always say to people, don't bite more than you can chew. This help is something you can actually avoid. Now, the one he was talking about, take it from that angle, that the woman was somewhere, the man recognized her voice and decided to help her. It's different from calling your ex.
But that's help in itself.
It was coincidental.
But she still took money.
But
She took money.
It was a coincidence.
Can we settle with Mark? Mark, what's this topic? What's the topic?
Seeking
what
help.
is our topic?
Is it good to seek? Is it right to seek? When you are seeking, are you not asking? In this case, she was not asking.
So she can refuse it then?
No. She found herself in a situation where the guy, she needed the job, and
the guy offered
to. Not that she was calling.
Was she helped?
You are getting it wrong. The topic is it right
to seek financial help? Yes.
Seeking means you are asking. Now you have a phone, and I'm coming to you and say, please help me. I need your phone. I have to use your phone. It's different from I'm looking for a phone, and you are like, oh, please, madam, can you have my phone?
You get that right now.
Okay,
in that place, when you're seeking, you can now be begging. And when you're begging, you're ready to give anything to have it.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's difficult to know how deep the emotions of female are. You know, Shakespeare will tell you that health, a woman's fury. What was that word again?
Health, not...
something, you don't know the extent of hell.
Yeah, hell
like,
has no fury.
Hell has no fury like a woman's corn.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I finally get that. So from a female angle, you know, even, let me look at you now, Mark. You are unattached, you are single, already. I'm just using you because you are the person in front of me. There are women who may already be fighting over you.
But I'm not aware.
Yes, it's called proxy war. Proxy war.
Right.
You are the center, they are your proxies. You are not setting any agenda, you are not, you know, somebody is not comfortable that I saw Lady A with Mark this morning. What are they doing? Lady A goes away, she sees Lady B with Mark throughout the evening. And you are just passing your time, possibly professionally, socially, spending leisure. You may not even become, so we don't know the baggages, the complexion of female jealousy, of female temper, of female mood. But I am insisting, you know, like I have said, there is a will behind the help. There is a motive behind the help. You know, so if you put this, if a female who is married, who was my ex, needed help that I could offer, I claim, for instance, by my name, Innocent, to be a Christian, and then in giving, you can't be selective. You can't be selective. And then Jesus Christ asked us, what is the value of showing love to only those who love you? What extra special have you done? So we surround ourselves with pre-existing ideas, social stigma. We build walls, high fences. This shouldn't be, break down this, and people are drowning. People are dying. We take it within the context of this COVID-19 situation. Lots of good-looking, including me, you here talking to us, situations are not where they were. Lots of our foundations, defenses, pillars are not standing where they are. And instead of me to just reach out, I say, somebody has the tag X. It's a no-go area. And somehow, that looks like my inevitable route of respite. I'll be committing suicide, abandoning an ex who can help me in the name of he's an ex. It's suicide. I'm killing myself. I'm killing my family. You reach help is help. Now, after the help, like she said, a woman begging, well, if you beg, and it comes to my point, if your will is compromised, if your motive is compromised, that I said from the beginning, I agree with you, is wrong. But asking for help is always right. Ask, and you shall receive.
All right.
I want to take it from there.
All right.
I want to use myself as an example.
Yeah.
Some years ago, about 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, I lost my job. And it wasn't as if I was hungry. My husband said, don't worry, I'll give you everything, just stay at home. But I wasn't fulfilled because I was just sitting at home and all I was doing was taking care of the children and all that.
And you're not the idle type.
And I had an ex. I had somebody I once dated. We dated for 5 years. I was supposed to be married to him, but something happened. It was something I couldn't take off my eyes, and we didn't get married. But the relationship was so, and he's now in place. Like, it's somebody I know. He liked me then while we were dating. If I call him now, as a matter of fact, when I was getting married, I deleted everything that has to do with him from my phone, from my memory and all that. But I knew that if I call him, I would probably get a high rank paying job somewhere. But my brother, I did not call him. I didn't call him because you know why? If my husband should find out, because they had...
No, that's not why you didn't call him.
That's it!
You didn't call him because your husband still had a job.
No!
And things were still running in your home. I'm telling you the truth. Was your husband unemployed the same time with you?
Money was not my problem.
No, good. That's all. You have not reached that place yet.
Money was not my problem.
My sister, you haven't gotten there yet.
I wasn't looking for money.
No.
I was looking for a job. Money was not my problem. I was just tired of sitting at home.
I'm talking of somebody who really needs help.
I was desperately, you don't know as a woman, when you're not sitting at home, you used to dress like a chick, you used to look good. It wasn't about money. You used to go out, you meet people, and all of a sudden, you are now at home. You know, sometimes your husband will even call you and say, where are you? Are you not at home? Like, it wasn't like that before. Like, you feel, am I just wasting away?
Called you from his work.
Listen, now you need a job desperately. And everywhere you go to, they keep giving you one excuses and the other. And you know somebody has this job in his hands.
To give to you.
To give to me. But I couldn't call him because my husband actually took me from him. And he had 1 or 2, physical. So my husband know him. And if my husband would definitely find out, because he know him very well, that I got this job from him. And that might lead to the end of my marriage. I weigh the option.
Good.
Do I want my marriage or I want this job? I took my time to be patient, and I finally got to where I was going to go to. What I am trying to bring out is that it doesn't matter the need. There's no need that is permanent. If you have need for water, you want to drink water. After a while, if you don't get the water, that need will subside. What if it doesn't come? Now, if you have a need for money, you want to reach out. If you wait for a while, that need will subside, or something will just come up. Something will just, if God, don't forget, it's not morally right. Your ex is your ex. You shouldn't even have your ex number.
Good. Now,
as a woman.
Now, you made that, you were saying she hasn't gotten there yet, but she has told you she was in need of a job, meaning she has gotten to the brink where she just needed to get busy. I mean, what else, or how desperate could someone be in wanting to reach out to get help? Seeking financial help is also part of the process. She needed a job so that she could be back into the system where she had been earning financially for herself like she was always used to.
You know, I'm going to bore the listeners at home. I keep saying I agree with Sandra. You know, I agree with you, but there is a limit I'm not exceeding.
Okay.
You know, I have agreed with you. In the last space I had before you, I said, marriage is sacred. You know, we go take vows in front of God and witnesses. Especially, we are not talking of even an ex-girlfriend, and possibly we've, on this pedestal, elevated it into marriage. Let it be kept sacred. You know, the thing you promise not to do, don't violate your vows. That's the definition of transparent fidelity. You know, but I am now saying this, that somebody, the picture you paint, you are living in paradise, my dear. Your husband has just gone to work. Your bills are settled. No landlord is chasing you. Excuse me. Children, excuse me.
That was, everybody has their needs.
You have,
no, wait.
Yes.
At that time, money might be your need, but my need might not be money.
Yeah.
That experience I gave you was a very deep thing.
It's the trying time for you. But there are other consolations around you.
Because as a woman, I was always used to going to work, look good. Now, I have a lot of clothes on my wardrobe. I just sit down and look at them.
Do you know the kind of help I am discussing on this table?
Just sit at home.
Do you know the kind of help I am discussing on this table?
Yeah.
I am talking of somebody who is next to zero. I am not discussing somebody seeking help in that your comfort zone.
Your help might be different from my help. Everybody have their needs. As at that time, that was my help. Because now I have to now depend on my, before I send money to my parents without asking. I do stuff at home for my children. I buy him gifts.
Without bugging your husband, right? Without bugging your husband?
Without asking him. I remember there was a time he had his birthday, his 40th birthday, and it was around that time. I had a surprise party, and you know, when we got home in the evening, he looked at me and he was like, "It's my money now. I know it's my money." But he wouldn't have said that before if I was working. You know, those things where, you know, a man, there are some things, even though they give you, there are some things they will say that will get at you. For a woman that know that, okay, I am used to having my own. I don't ask. Even while we're cutting, I don't know how to ask for
You
money.
and I have spoken on
Now,
this program that one
need.
of the unfortunate situations is for a woman to be married where her husband is incapacitated. You have said so, I have said so. It is in that context I am on this interview. So I agree your need is different from another. One need is not universal.
Exactly.
One size does not fit all. But I'm talking about somebody, I've used that imagery before, a drowning person. Look, may God help us not to get to that brink
of drowning.
May God Almighty, as we are on this show arguing nicely, help us. It is not a good place to be. You definitely will reach out for help.
You see, Innocent is holding down a firm position. And he's saying, look, I understand what you're saying. I get your preambles. But I am talking about a situation where it is very, very daring. I need this help, and this is the person that has that gold. And I need to reach out to this person. And that person is the ex.
It's only your ex
I've told you it's one out of the pool.
Yeah.
And don't forget, like I said, I am still standing on my ground.
Good.
That when you are in need, sometimes if you are patient, something will just happen. There will be a solution. I found myself in that situation where a lot of times I'm in need and I'm looking at somebody, and even the ex might even disappoint you. Yes, you might be looking at the ex. I will always advise people to look up to God, not the ex. Because God will talk to somebody that will give you that situation. It's not ex, because that your ex might even have it, and the ex is upset with you that you see yourself. That was why I said, marry me. You didn't marry me. Now see the situation where you have found yourself. You might think is your ex. You would have gone to disgrace your spouse. You know, a woman reaching out to an ex, you have relegated your spouse like, I am suffering. As a woman, no matter how bad it is, I will never tell my ex I am suffering in my husband's side, because you have finished that man. Tomorrow, when they find themselves in function, he will not be respected. Now, you now reach out to the ex, and he's not there for you. Your ex is not your solution, my brother. God is your source. When you get to that level, hold on to God, not your ex.
You heard her. She said, look, when you are looking at that ex, there is a possibility that even the help is not even in the hands of that ex. And at the same time, you might even go there and this ex will embarrass you. And you would have actually brought your family members out, brought everybody out, and disgraced your spouse. I mean, you are saying you want to drown, but she's saying, look, when you are drowning, you hold on to the Almighty. That ex might not even have the help you're seeking, that you're so firm about now.
God works in human beings. I'm telling you the truth. You see, we are going spiritual, scriptural now. God works in Mark or Tabo. I am parked on the roadside. I have an overheated engine. Mark is driving by. That is God.
All right.
I want to eat in a restaurant. I check my wallet has been stolen. I've already finished the meal. What do I tell this food seller? One of your cameramen, that is God.
That is God.
God does not call, God works in human form.
God works in human form, but we are still right here on the show, and we will return. And of course, we have our guests that are waiting online to actually, weigh in on this subject matter as we keep it going. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Now the subject matter is still very sacrosanct. Is it right? Is it okay for an ex to seek financial assistance? All right, that's what we're talking about. And we've been having the back and forth argument here and there. And now we have our audience station online to actually weigh in on this debate. First, I have Tessie, who is standing by to throw her question. Tessie, are you finally with us?
Thank you, Mark. I think I'm directing my question to Sandra.
All right.
The relationship expert, right?
Yes.
All right. Before I ask my question, Mark, I like to explain or just let us understand that this topic is so vast, very complicated, so delicate, but much as we try to be diplomatic about it, I wouldn't want to play church here. I wouldn't want to rub on religion to it. I like to just come straight to ask if there's any legal or religious backing to your point when you say it's outrightly wrong for a woman to seek help or financial help, so to speak, from an ex. If you're going to seek help from anyone, a man will frown at it. Just like you rightly said, you didn't want to go back to your ex because your husband will frown at it, not because it's wrong. So I don't want to say it's outrightly wrong. So I'm adding another question to it, man. I hope you're noting. What if my ex has become my pastor? Saying that he cannot help me because it's easy to judge when you're not in someone else's shoe. Like we keep saying drowning. You don't know what that person is going through. So what if I have become a woman of God and the ex too has become a spiritual leader? Are you saying he's going to be doing God or my husband any wrong to help me? Because I think for every marriage, there should be there are different cadres of understanding. So if there's a mutual understanding, are you telling me it's outrightly wrong for an ex to render help? So please note, give me religious or legal backing.
I am not a lawyer, but I can tell you with all confidence that in the law, the only where God say you can divorce your spouse is when you commit an adultery. Now, when you say your ex is now your pastor, pastors have blood flowing in the veins. The fact that he is a pastor does not make him not admire a beautiful woman. The fact that he is now a pastor, we have had situations, I don't want to mention names, we have read on social media where women came up to say a pastor slept with them, this happened and that happened. Now, in the law, don't forget what I said when I started. Once debe, always debe. What does that mean in English? Once you get there, you will always get there. You and I know as a woman that if they lock you and your ex, that you were not sleeping partner. We're talking of somebody you were connected to, who was your ex. If they lock the two of you in one room, if something does not happen, probably God was just there watching and taking pictures. You and I know. So now, I always say to people, what I cannot defend, I don't do it. I'm a very religious person also. So what I cannot defend, and then when I am in a relationship of husband or wife, you have to be very transparent. There's nothing like fake. You're not faking things if you really love your husband. And now, the worst thing that can happen to a man is to find out that he's cheating. Cheating, I always say to people, cheating does not come from opening your legs. Cheating comes from when you start sending love text messages, you start telling the person you're looking beautiful, you are now emotional, you're getting emotionally attached to the person. Don't forget, like you are saying the Bible now, that's why I'm bringing this into it. Don't forget, even in the Bible, God said, thinking of it in your heart, you don't need to engage physically. You are already an adulterous woman. Now, by the time your ex give you, for instance, you need 1 million, your husband could not give you 1 million, and your ex is giving you 1.5. We are humans. There's every tendency to say, I want to keep this relationship. Now, from keeping the relationship, you start talking, you start exchanging text messages, and then your husband catch you. Legally, you can be divorced. Your husband can divorce you. That's the legal aspect.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, do you have anything to say to that? Fantastic. All right, then, who do we have next online?
When Mr. Innocent says, ask and it shall be given unto you, I'm kind of concerned. I'm someone that does not believe in free lunch. I'm not trying to act innocent, but if I ask you for something, what am I giving you in return? So I wouldn't know what you mean by ask and it shall be given unto you. The Bible says we should ask and it shall be given unto us. But I'm strictly not a fan of asking an ex for help. I really would not want to encourage it or want to find myself in such a position.
All right, thank you very much. Well, you don't want to sound innocent, but quite unfortunately, you're talking to Mr. Innocent. Now, Mr. Innocent, you
Which makes me innocent.
Which makes you innocent. Well.
You are not.
All right, fantastic. Now,
I am.
You heard the stand. You heard what she said.
Yes.
She said you were all outright saying, ask and it shall be given. She says she's not a fan of free lunch. And she wouldn't want to be in that situation. That's a woman there talking, that she would not want to find herself in that situation to want to reach out in that kind of circumstance. But you equally didn't think there was anything wrong because obviously you played up the general opinion about showing help, showing love, and showing concern is human.
In the course of this debate, lots of things have been said. And so picking out one of the lines of my argument, it doesn't whitewash everything I have said. I'll take her up from finding yourself in that position. Most people didn't, it wasn't their choice. It's not a choice to find. If it's a choice, that person, take it from me, is lazy. It's not worth my argument. It's not a choice to find yourself. That's why I said when someone is drowning, when someone is drowning. And I said, may God help us not to be on this brink. It's not a palatable place to be. And again, with regards to my position, God helps everybody. And we hear here, God says his sunshine falls on both the good and the evil. God's sunshine falls on all men. So the help, I'm very clear, helping is right. If your motive, if your will is now distorted behind the help, that's your problem. I'm not for that anymore.
All right, thank you very much. If your motive is distorted, that's your business. All right, who do we have next? We have Folarin. Let's have a guy now, quickly.
Okay, first of all, I would like to appreciate Innocent for his line of argument. And then to Sandra, I would like to say that, that I am an ex to you. Does that make me automatically a bad person? That I am an ex to you, is it because I'm an ex to you and I want to do good to you that I become bad? Or you cannot resist my goodness and my personality such that when I give you the help, you just fall? That is that. And then also, I want Sandra to look at it from the angle that if you say don't go to your ex at all, are we not overgeneralizing? Are we not throwing away the bathwater and the baby? Those are my questions to Sandra. Thank you.
Very, very, very intelligent question. Now,
When we are talking about ex,
all right.
there's a big difference between friendship and an ex. In a sense that you can be my friend for 10 years and we don't see for a long time. We see again and we pick it from where we start. But when we're talking about ex that involve intimacy, that involve love, that involve affection, that involve, you are not a bad person, but I'm trying to protect my home. I am trying to respect my husband, the head, Olowo Orimi, my crown, by saying, I don't need your help. It doesn't mean you are a bad person. Don't forget, your ex, I don't have a business having your number in the first place. So how do I call you? When I was getting married, I knew who my husband was. I knew he cannot, he's not capable. That is why you shouldn't bite more than you can chew. So the fact that you are my ex, you're not bad, you are not evil, you are not terrible, but I'm just trying to be careful so that a problem will not come for me. And I'm trying to respect my marriage. And I'm trying to respect my husband.
Thank you very much.
Ex is different from friendship.
Okay. Falari, you heard it. Even though you came from a very, very, fantastic angle, she has flawed you again. She says, look, help is, ex is different from friends. That's a different ballgame. She wants to protect her family and respect the Olowo Ori of our home.
Yes,
all right,
thank you, Mark. But I also want to, she didn't answer the part where I said, are we not generalizing? If we say don't go to your, because the ex might be the person that God is going to use to save out of that situation. Are we not generalizing?
All right.
If God knows your ex is going to be a problem to you, why must God use your ex in the first place? I don't know what that means. God knows that you might be tempted. The Bible says flee. He said flee from sin. He did not say run. He did not say shift. He said, you know what flee means? Flee. Yeah. God will never use your ex because God knows that mostly when they were when there was a relationship that has to do with intimacy, it can lead you to another thing. Okay. And God is wiser than that. He will never use your ex.
So Falari, you are not God, all right? So let's move on to the next guest.
So, Mr. Innocent, I would like to ask you, talking about exes, I want to ask, is it not what's the word I'm trying to look for? A disrespectful thing that a wife is asking the ex for money? Are you not rubbing it on the face of the husband that is not capable enough? Because when you signed this contract of marriage, it was for better or worse, for riches or for poor, for good or for bad. And things are now bad now, and you are seeking the help of your ex. Are you not indirectly rubbing it on the face of your husband and making him know that, oh, you are not man enough for me, you cannot cater for me, you are not good enough for me, and so I'm looking for outside, a means outside for me to get the things that you're not providing? And is she not automatically shifting away and becoming, or let me say she or he, is shifting away and becoming a second wife to that ex? Because that ex might have a partner outside. Imagine if the ex is married. So that's what I want to ask. Are you not rubbing it on the face of your husband that is not good enough for you? If you are still seeking help from your ex, an ex that is gone before, can't you just cope with your husband and look for other ways to deal with it internally? That's my question.
Thank you very much, Marvelous. Yeah, you heard him.
Marvelous. What a marvelous question. First of all, you got it wrong gender-wise. Innocent cannot have a husband. I'm already having a wife.
Yeah, I think he was talking about
but I know
the scenario he was talking about.
The direction you are headed for. Well, I have said here on this platform that we pray. God does not let us get to that brink. And I have said my position is for people who are almost hopelessly desperate. That's where I'm talking about. People whose situation is next to zero. I'm not talking about people with convenience, alternatives. I'm not talking about that. And then, it's difficult for us to talk without talking Bible, talking this, but do you know the milk a woman carries with her emotional attachment for these pitiable children in front of her she's looking at? And she can't do anything. You know, maybe I should be well understood. Asking for help is not wrong. Asking for help and then going ahead to do things undercover is wrong. So if you ask for help and you get help and you solve what was pushing you to get your help, you move on good and fine.
Well, he said something now. He said, why can't you seek other internal ways to solve that problem than reaching out for that X? The X was his particular argument.
I have said so on this platform that X is from one of the pool the person was reaching to. Do you recall that comment? That X is not just your salvation. It's not just the only help you need. You are searching for help, but your X, can I also try this one? That's my position. I'm not talking about as soon as there is no, the gas is, you run out of gas at home, your X. You run out of airtime. No. And that's where Folarin is asking.
Innocent,
are we generalizing that all X are now bad people?
Innocent, you cannot dribble me. You cannot dribble me.
And we are not playing football.
You are not JJ Okocha. Now this is it. You said when you are drowning.
Yes.
That thing you hold on to is what is your lifeline.
It's a lifeline.
And that
it's
X
a lifeline.
is the lifeline.
It's a drowning man, whatever, anything you can touch is a lifeline.
And anything you can touch is what we are discussing, which
because
is
you
the
can
X.
go and touch a leaf, hoping it will help you, and down you go.
Exactly.
So, look, it's a 50-50 thing. I get, he's coming from a physiological and psychological point of regards, of disrespect, smearing your husband in a negative image, taking something from inside outside. That X, when you were in that relationship, was seemingly a friend.
My question to first and foremost to Mr. Innocent.
All right.
Mr. Innocent. Now, you said, I'm a woman, women, from the debate all along, it's like we have been biased. It's all around the women. There is only woman who cannot go to her X. What about the men coming to X? That's that. Now, let's look at culturally. We see some cultures. In some states in Nigeria, we see today, a woman does not have the right to go to her X to ask for anything. If she does that, it's a taboo, and she will face the consequence. What are you looking at it from the cultural aspect of it? That's Mr. Innocent. Right. Now to Ms. Sandra. You know, the Bible says all things have passed away, all things have become new. If you want to go and meet your ex, you will create limits before you do that. You must create a limit. Right. If you don't create that limit, that, okay, for the fact that I'm coming to meet you for a help or something, then I don't expect you to ask for anything from the help you are rendering to me, because I am now married. It's circumstance that may need to come to you. So if she creates that limit, or boundaries, I don't think the man will ask for anything in exchange for the help he's rendering to the woman. Thank you.
But let's look at it from the other angle. I am a woman. I need some money. My husband cannot provide. For instance, God forbid. And I go to an ex. And an ex is offering me that money. What will come to your mind? No woman wants to suffer, whether you like it or not. That's why men are always, if you go to churches, they will advise you. They will ask you, do you have a job? Most churches will never get you married to a woman if you don't have a job. Most women, they don't want to suffer. A woman, if a husband does not have a job for a while, she can only manage. After a while, she will start telling you, I'm getting tired though. The way I'm trekking, I'm getting tired. You have to do something. She will not start thinking that my ex, he gave me 1 million. And he still kept calling me. He just told me last week that I'm beautiful. And I'm suffering, I need a car. She will ask again. Oliver Twist. She will ask again. And that ex is a human. Probably he's not really deep into God. And even if he's deep into God, there's blood flowing in his vein. And then that's when you start seeing them sending chat. Don't forget, it's not only when you sleep with him. When you start remembering the old memories, how you used to hang out, how you used to sleep in his house, you have started committing adultery, according to the Bible. So it's not about whether it's good or not. You are relegating your husband. If your husband have issues, this is an advice. Pray for him. And husband and wife should live as one. If your wife prays for you every day, you guys will never have issues. Manage whatever you have as a woman. Manage it. Don't build beyond your boundaries. Don't be, you're earning 20,000 naira, you're going to live in a duplex. That's where those problems come from. Manage it. If it's bend and select, you can afford, as at that time. Every marriage has stages. When I got married, it wasn't where I am now. it was very low. But now, today, I cannot start looking for some things. Manage and pray. God will give you. Don't put your mind on your ex. You're not a lazy woman. You can also work.
Thank you very much. When you go to your ex, you're relegating your family, and we're heading towards a relegation zone on this show right now as we round off. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Is it right for a wife to seek financial help from her ex? Innocent and Sandra have been here and doing justice, but they're here to give us the final takes as we take this show, as we end the show, by the way. Now, Innocent, your final take, quickly, in a few words, before we move on to Sandra to round this whole thing up.
Okay, I'll link it with the last caller. If culturally you are forbidden for this kind of topic, you are born an indigene of that culture, please back off. You alone cannot challenge your culture. Now, this is another instance of pray, 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 pray. Support your husband, pray. Nothing is bigger than prayers. But take this instance from March. Teacher spouses, husband, teacher, wife, teacher in private schools haven't received salary. This is August. Is the woman to still be praying beside the husband? The husband has no salary. Schools are closed. There are COVID-19 restrictions. The wife also has no salary. You know, what should they do? Begging is not the only way out, but you can also ask for help. And I don't think asking for help is wrong. And like I said, this kind of help I'm talking about is situational. People find themselves, I've been using that word, on the brink. It is not where you want to find yourself. You just find, as we are now, listening to me, look around you within 2020. It's all around us. And you are asking for help. You are a wife. You've asked your mother for help. You've asked your siblings for help, your former colleagues for help. And you think, this person, one of your friends, yes, with the identity of an ex, maybe he can help. And you ask him, for me, it's not wrong. Now, if after asking him, you have another intention, you are wrong there. You have another motive, you are wrong there. You have another will distorted. You know, my faith tells us avoid not only sin, avoid dangerous occasions of sin. So if in asking, you are trying to create occasions, Sandra has won the debate. But just asking for help, it is not wrong. You are right.
Thank you.
And when you ask, I repeat, if you are lucky, you will receive.
Thank you very much. That was brilliantly put by Innocent. Yeah. Now, what is your final take?
My final take is if you're getting married as a young woman or as a young man, I don't encourage full-time housewife. And if you're making money, don't eat with your two hands. I am also affected by what he's saying. I'm not a teacher, but I am a relationship expert and I also mentor children. Most of what I make is from what I do for children. Now, children are not in school and everything has
broken down.
It's broken down. But while I was making that money, I saved and I diverted into another online business. Right now, I'm making money from that online business. I don't have to beg my husband or beg an ex for money. If you are always looking up that my ex is rich, and you want to always look, you are relegating your husband. As a woman, don't sleep on the bed when your mates are waking up in the morning. Why? Because your husband, no matter how rich your husband is, one day he will be broke and then he will need your help. And when you're making money as a teacher or as a worker, don't eat with your two hands. It's this COVID-19 2020, I know that it's good to save. If you're earning 20,000 naira, make sure 5,000 naira go out of that money. You know what? Ask yourself, what if that money is not coming? Am I not going to survive?
Thank you.
That is why when it's time for you to beg, you remember your bank account. You remember your other businesses that you should do. If you're a teacher, do some other businesses. Rich men like Dangote are into several things. I'll round up from that.
Thank you very much. All right then, and it's been an exciting debate. And we normally shake hands, but because of the restrictions, we can't. But you can actually throw a knuckle or Bluetooth, yeah. and she'll get it fantastic. Thank you very much. Now, it's been an exciting moment, and I want to thank my virtual audience as well for actually showing up to actually stir this whole thing up. The questions were quite intelligent, and they heard it. You heard them. It's been an exciting outing with Innocent Adulugba and Sandra Odufaderin. If you had fun watching this debate, follow the conversation on our social media handles at TVC Connect and at TVC News Nigeria. My personal handle is at Mark Otabo. Twitter, Instagram. Engage me with the hashtag #TheBigIssue. Shout out to my producer, Francis Azubike, for the job well done. Remember, if it is not big enough, it has no business here. Till we meet again, of course, this would always be the big issue.